are ready to serve you the next course. It's a rematch of the London Spitfire versus the Toronto Defiant.
Oh yes, the home team's finally going to walk out in front of their home crowd.
Although already going after that Brigida, Hottie trying to protect his backline with everything he has, but he's the first to fall and Landon can't back him up. So that's a quick turnaround for Toronto.
Yeah, Hottie being the first to fall really hurts because after that your disengagement is so much weaker. You don't get the additional speed. It's going to be sound barrier versus sound barrier. Chorong is forced to move into a second barrier.
Beat engage for Admiral. Chorong unleashes his second. Twilight with the rally and Landon as well. Resources expended and Admiral's first to fall. No speed for London as Hisu has been free-su to poke away at London and dismantle them one by one. But what is this? Landon, are you serious? Takes out Twilight. Very limited healing for Toronto, but is the job already done? You look at the point, it's 3 versus 2 and London back away, so Toronto holds equal 4 versus 4. Admiral makes sure that his backline is safe. Good whip shot from Landon. Here's Chorong trying to boop someone in position, but Sparker headshots. Hisu,
but on the point.
Not a lot of damage and not a lot of people on the point. Toronto with round 1.
It was a big old bomb that forced London Spitfire.
Healthy, respect that space, but Backbone is killable. Twilight assures of it. Great whip shot moment as Toronto step forward to clean up the rest. 5v4, taking control of Mega Pack is great. Hottie a little bit behind from the flock, but Aldo cuts through the backline and more as Toronto take back the point. 2
whip shot kills in one fight as well from Twilight. We talked poke away easily at London Spitfire as they have to put themselves in danger to touch this point with no ultimates.
Admiral can't touch. Is anyone else there? Sparker! He does jump in, starts the overtime. Landon is around the corner. Hottie has to jump in. Toronto, they shut the door, and Toronto take map 1.
Their first map in front of a home crowd. And deeper. So when he disengaged, he was right into the path of Landon, who could deliver the melee DPS to get that killing blow. Now Toronto Defiant, they aren't close to any ultimates. What they don't have to do is battle through the high ground. This is an ideal fight for them.
Oh, Backbone got found. Great headshot by Hisu. He has one of the highest crits on Ash as well, and Landon's just toast. This is such a free butt for Toronto, and all they had to do was walk up while London lost control of Bridge. So great fight by Toronto.
It's all about that attrition, like you
wants to draw everyone into an alley for this rampage. He catches Sparker, Admiral, and Landon. Landon's rally trying to keep the team up. Howdy counter engages. He gets a 3-man or 4-man ante. The supports from Toronto affected, but above is Sparker. He needs to hit the shots for London, and he converts on a few, at least 2. And Toronto dead in the water this fight. Yeah, Landon's initiative on the rally was important last fight, but Toronto have the advantage here. They start with the rally and the blade, and it's already 1 kill. Hoppa leads the charge on the front line, and he's flattening the faces of London, who just decided to only use the blade and give this one up. This was an overtime push, though. London just commit the overclock to burn the Bob down. Now this card has not stopped pushing this entire time, so London need to win this fight or this will be a full cap. And it starts off the way of Backbone. Already 2 kills for the defense, and a blade on the menu next. Toronto present themselves forward, but this was a done fight to begin with, as London stopped the full capture from Toronto.
Tactically utilized.
It's hard for Sojo to attack here. You don't have the dynamite you could throw over, but that pull means a lot. Hottie pulls in Twilight to the line of fire. 5 versus 4, and not a lot of healing without that Brigida player. Toronto disengages around the corner. Sparker, man, he is lighting up. He's got a ton of charge, and Aldo finds himself completely out of rotation away from the team. He tried to take an off angle, but Toronto went the other way.
Yeah, it was a botched call on the disengage, and Sparker still reigns supreme, baby. Sweden, as he would elsewise like.
Hisu is the only one with an ult. He has a bob, but I guess Toronto's supports just fall over? How does that happen? Maybe they presented themselves to go for a whip shot, but without supports, this is just a done fight. London get point B. There's no saving this for Toronto. You're farming ults and you're thinking about point C. Do you want to take it on the low ground? Do you want to hit him on the high ground and draw the fight down low? Toronto have ways to disengage, but they're the ones who initiate. They throw the ball forward. They split London in half, and they tried to send Aldo to finish the fight, but it's Hotba's rampage that slowed London down. But without Landon's rally, London are dangerously low, but it's the damage that strikes finally for London as the box of victory is in their sight, and the London, no, that's a last second touch. I was almost ready for that to be a map win. Toronto, though, just had me going. London Spitfire will tie the series.
The last seconds of soon, so it's just a little bit of an S as they move on back, wait to go back to full strength, and then retake the high ground to make sure that Hisu doesn't have these easy areas to operate from.
Yeah, Backbone was kind of contesting the car, and he dashes in. I'm not sure if he got the reset, and this has been tough. Toronto are just surrounding them. They're still trying to punish Backbone, and they finally do. London finally gets removed from the car, but not before taking half of Toronto's time bank.
Seems like that might have been a little bit of a comms issue for London Spitfire as well. They got the opening pick onto Twilight.
And all these support ultimates from Toronto could be a sign of success. Although goes in 86 HP, goes at the Sparker, who jumps on out, and the barrier from Admiral saves the entire team, and London rolls them.
I love how Admiral actually held onto that barrier for a couple of seconds longer, not instantly reacting to a blade.
On that high ground, I think Aldo's keeping him in check. The first blade to Backbone goes after Churong, and Hottie squashes Hotba. So a 5-on-3. London, though, going a little too deep, but honestly, just losing Admiral is totally...
Landon almost with the rally. Toronto Defiant, they need to survive long enough for Twilight and Churong to be able to bring their own sustainability. No way!
God! No. And they actually go to punish Backbone, who dives into the back. Do they get the kill? He's very low, but as everyone is distracted from flanking, it's London that play front to back and end up winning the fight.
All right, chatty moment right here. What tracking he had onto all those.
Puts the bomb right at the choke as London activate the sound barrier, and I thought Aldo was gonna wanna wait for that, but Backbone doesn't wait a second. He's blading the backline. Aldo does the same thing, but he was anti-healed by Hottie, so although you can heal him all you want, it's not gonna work. So London waited, and it paid off. They will be getting point A.
From the objective, and yes, it's a touch.
Oh, thank God, but there's a disruptor shot there. Don't be allergic to it. Hoppa has to anchor for his team. They need to heal him up, but Twilight is dead right before the rally! The London Spitfire overwhelmed them, and they Spitfire indeed. They're on match point.
For London Spitfire, 1-1. Just making sure that Toronto have to continually make these rotations and potentially leave Hisu behind, as he's going to have a lot more trouble actually joining them. Oh no, that's bad.
How does Twilight die first? London just sail past Hoppa. They don't know wall him, and they're constantly just finding picks on these supports. Toronto have to keep their head in the game because this first fight goes to London.
Well, there's a reason, Lemon. Why
now use theirs to engage after Backbone already used his blade. Can Toronto actually get any kills? That's the million-dollar question. They collapse on the land, and Sparker is done with. Toronto get their first fight win of Coliseum, but not after giving up 65 meters.
So the overall plan there from London Spitfire, of course.
Now that Landon is just getting back, and Hoppa is back in the picture, and Twilight is getting pushed by 2 or 3 members of London. Where is the appeal from Toronto? They're trying to counter dive. They're trying to do the same thing to Admiral and Landon, but they're unperturbed. And Toronto, they go for the closet, and they re-emerge with a blade, but it's shut down by Hottie, and the sound barrier of Admiral. It just seems impossible for Toronto to get ahead, and London, they take back the bot.
You may have thousand-folded steel.
It's barrier v barrier, and Overclocked appears through Twilight, who tries to close the gap, but can't seem to get close enough to Sparker. But the front line of London has been overwhelmed as they tried to go a little too deep to go for the full capture in front of the Canadian fans. But Toronto ended here, but it's still a long road to try and match another 100 meters.
The blade, watch for the ante, it hits Backbone.
Oh, and you got the punish onto the London supports. That's all Toronto needed. Finally, although gets the pop off, but London got some trades, and you got to stay on this card. Perfection is demanded of Toronto if they want to force another map.
Hisu has to take the bot away from the remaining.
Twilight's ready with the anti, hits Hottie with it. The sound bear from Admiral starts to engage off nice for London. There's a sleep on the Sparker. Can Hisu get the finishing blow? He doesn't. Without that main take of Hotba, watch Toronto! What happens? Churong misses the beat, but London don't miss this beat. They take the series just like they did last time, 3-1.
In front of the home crowd, let him just call himself villains. He's pushing up on the graves of Toronto Defiant. Yes, there may be a loser's bracket, but that does not mean...